After giving the church the law of retaliation, the Lord then gave the law of war. Like the war of retaliation, the law of war is eternal and was given to the Lord's ancient peoples, the patriarchs, prophets, and apostles. To begin with, the Lord prohibited the church from going to war without his express commandment and permission. The Lord is the commander-in-chief and reserves the right to determine when Israel, ancient or modern, goes to war and under what conditions. Even when another nation or people declares war against the kingdom, the saints must first make a peace offering. As in the law of retaliation, the law of war requires 3 testimonies brought to the Lord before action is taken. The saints are required to offer the standard of peace 3 times. If rejected, the saints can bring them to the Lord as a testimony. At this point, war becomes justified, and the Lord will lead his saints into battle. Of course, unstated but implied, for a policy on war to even be feasible, there must be a standing army to implement that policy. Without an army, the church cannot wage war, justifiably or not. The Lord claimed that he had given the law of war to his ancients. It is evident from the scriptures that this was the case. For example, when Israel was about to enter into the promised land, the Lord gave his law on selecting soldiers and making war. Like the modern law, the ancient Israelite law enshrined the principle of first offering peace to the enemy. Only when peace proclamations were rejected would making war become justifiable. The Nephites were taught to seek peace first and to defend themselves by the shedding of blood only when necessary. As in our modern law, they were forbidden to be the aggressor. The Lord promised to fight the Nephites' battles as he has promised to fight our battles if they kept his commandments. He promised to warn them against danger and guide them in the deployment of their troops. During the time of the apostles, most rabbis taught that forgiveness should be given for no more than 3 trespasses. A 4th trespass was not to be forgiven. Some rabbis believed that forgiveness should be given up to 7 times. This was the number Peter used when he asked Jesus how many times a man should forgive. Peter likely believed that this was a generous level of forgiveness given the rabbinical norm. But the Lord, as we all know, did not put a limit on forgiveness. Brothers must forgive each other until 70 times 7. That is, there is no numerical limit to forgiveness. The Lord's law of forgiveness for our dispensation, like that of the apostolic dispensation, puts no limit to forgiveness. The rule is again 70 times 7 for all those who repent and beg forgiveness. For those who trespass but don't repent, the law is much less forgiving. Like the laws of retaliation and war, there is a rule of 3 testimonies. A trespasser who does not repent is to be forgiven 3 times. On the 4th trespass, the testimonies are taken to the Lord. Under this law, the children may repent and restore both their own trespasses and their father's. If they do, then they are to be forgiven.